GM Brad Stevens deserves the Executive of the Year award after constructing a fantastic starting five and producing a Celtics team who won 64 games and made the Eastern Conference Finals for the sixth time in the last 8 years. But as we all know, this team is very heavy in winning a championship, and if it were to come up short, we're going to be looking at a Bleacher Report article looking at 3 possible trades that the Celtics could make if it were to go south this season. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. Before we look at all of these trades, I'd like to let you guys know that 63% of you guys who watch our videos are not subscribed. And as the Celtics are moving on and advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals, we'd like you to come and join us. So if you guys are not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button as we're chasing for 4,000 subscribers by the end of the playoffs. And we have live watch-alongs, radio call-in streams that we'll be doing leading up for the Eastern Conference Finals. Hope to catch you guys there. Without further ado, let's dive into the news at hand. Make sure to grab a snack as it's going to be a jam-packed episode. And we're going to be looking at some crazy trades, as I think that these are personally absolutely crazy to be dissecting, especially looking at the names of some of the players, especially when this article is coming out the day after the Celtics made the Eastern Conference Finals. It is a little bit nuts. But here, we're going to be looking at some Celtics hypothetical blockbuster trades to shake up an NBA offseason by Zach Buckley. And as you guys can see in the image pointed down below, it is going to be involving Jaylen Brown. Now, my honest opinion, Jaylen Brown has been absolutely fantastic for the Boston Celtics. As you guys can see, 23 points this season, 5.5 total rebounds, 3.6 assists. Look at his career stats compared. With adding guys like Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, Kristaps, Porzingis, his numbers even went up. When you would think they would go down, adding more stardom, adding more superstar power, Jaylen Brown said, nope, I'm going to arise to this occasion. Putting up around 50% from the field, 35% from three, and 71% from the free throw. Obviously, one of the main gripes with Jaylen Brown is his free throw shots, but in the playoffs, in the second half of the season, he has really stepped up for this Boston Celtics team. Everybody was questioning this extension in the offseason. Was Jaylen Brown going to be worth this $50 million? Yes, he is, ladies and gentlemen. He is 100% sure worth this money. After this season, we have seen him step up defensively, being one of the best two-way wings. When teams like the Heat or the Cavs had guys go off in those playoff series, they would put Jaylen Brown on him, and it would become an absolute wall. No points scored, absolute defensive masterclass, regardless if it was a guy taller than him from Evan Mobley or a guy smaller than him on Max Strus. He was able to do his dirty work on both sides of the ball, and especially be a very efficient on the offensive side. So my honest opinion, I don't think trading Jaylen Brown would be the best move, but let's look at these 3 possible trades. First, Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns. The Celtics subtract a major piece. It feels like Brown could have the odd man out, as Porzingis is too injury prone. They obviously just extended him as well. Holiday and Derrick White feel more worth to the Celtics than they'd be as a trade chip, and Jayson Tatum has long been Boston's best player. Brown, meanwhile, hasn't begun to collect his 5-year, $286 million extension, and if Boston shipped Brown, and again, that's wildly unlikely, it would have the trade budget to chase virtually anyone due to his contract being so high. Even in his prime, perennial all-stars like Devin Booker might be gettable in a star-for-star swap. Where Brown is a superior two-way talent, Booker boasts a deeper offensive bag. Since perimeter players like Holiday and White do their best work defensively, this trade-off could leave the Celtics one to consider. Now, as much as I am a Devin Booker fan, if you guys do not know, Devin Booker is one of my favorite players in the NBA, if not my favorite player in the NBA. I'm a huge Kentucky guy. This has been one of my guys since day one. But even if the Boston Celtics were doing a trade, Devin Booker pairing up with Jayson Tatum, I don't believe that is a smart move for the Boston Celtics. They mentioned having perimeter players in Jrue Holiday and Derrick White, and I know that this game has gone positionless, but having Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, and Devin Booker as your 1 through 3 doesn't seem like the smartest decision for me, especially when you have Jayson Tatum at the 4 and Kristaps Porzingis at the 5. Yes, it would still be a stacked team, but this team is heavily, and I mean heavily, ladies and gentlemen, relying on that three-point shot, relying on taking shots. We already know how Jayson Tatum gets when he gets ISO hungry. Devin Booker is going to do the same exact thing. This is also kind of similar to what the Suns have right now with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, 3 guys who all can shoot and score. And yes, I know that Jrue Holiday and Derrick White play way better defense than all of those guys and are way better playmakers than those guys. But still, as much as I am a Devin Booker fan, as I love his game, importing him with Jayson Tatum, a guy who's been compared to basically his whole career. Who is better, Jayson Tatum, Devin Booker? Both of these guys being these all-out scorers at their position. I think they would work nice as an offensive duo, but defensively, I don't know if it would be that great. And yes, you have Derrick White. Obviously, you have Jrue Holiday to take over those discrepancies. But Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum work the best because they're two wings working together, playing different positions, and we've seen that this year. Jaylen Brown has transcended as that scorer driving to the rack and being that defensive lockdown piece, while Jayson Tatum is that mid-range killer and scorer offensively. I do think it would work, but I don't think that this would be a smart move for the Boston Celtics, and I think it would be a better move for the Phoenix Suns, getting a little bit younger and getting a better piece in Jaylen Brown, a better two-way player. Now, if we want to look at the next trade, we can see that the next one is Donovan Mitchell, which I think is even funnier, just because we sent him packing legitimately last night, and now we have a trade saying, let's go trade for him. So if we want to see, before a calf injury forced him off the floor this postseason, Donovan Mitchell was showing the Celtics how big of a problem he can be. He's not only popped off for 29 points in his first 3 meetings, but he did it shooting 51.5% from the field and 53% from distance. He also quadrupled his 4 turnovers with 16 assists. He's obviously a special offensive talent who the Celtics could bring in, and they think he could swap with Brown because they feel that Donovan Mitchell would be a little bit better on the offensive side. They're saying he gives them a better scoring option to pair with Jayson Tatum and a vicious pick-your-poison pairing, while the Celtics would lose some size in the swap. But luckily, Derrick White and Jrue Holiday can be bigger than they are and actually play some defense. Once again, I get it. Donovan Mitchell is a great scorer. He can be a great offensive piece. But you're trying to sell on to the fact that we're going to play Donovan Mitchell, Jrue Holiday, and Derrick White, 3 guys that are all around 6'5", and one of them is going to play the starting small forward and have to guard guys like the likes of Jaylen Browns, the likes of Paolo Bancheros, the Franz Wagners. Yeah, Jrue Holiday, Derrick White, they can stop them, they can contain them, but I do not think it's going to help out in any single way. Yeah, you get a little bit better offensively for sure, but Jaylen Brown has been absolutely fantastic on the defensive side and still is an offensive killer. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget, let's look at his stats here. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Yes, these players are obviously outscoring him offensively, but defensively, what he brings for you on both sides of the ball, the playmaking, the assertiveness, everything like that, the hard work, the effort. I'm not trading Jaylen Brown away for Donovan Mitchell, who we just sent home, who hasn't even gotten a taste of an Eastern Conference Finals appearance, when Jaylen Brown has had 6 of them in his 8 years as a pro. He already has that experience. He already has that notability. I don't know, man. I think this is a little ridiculous. I get it. The offense would be better. Oh, yeah, Holiday and Derrick White can kind of contain and help out on the defensive side, but then you have a hole at your 3 position or a hole at your 4 position wherever you play Jayson Tatum. Positionless basketball, I know it's a thing, but it doesn't make the smartest move. And then this one I think is even crazier. Paul George, basically Jaylen Brown, but just in a younger, older shell. If we're not going to trade him for Kevin Durant, why are we going to trade him for Paul George? They think that we can get some draft picks back as well. Neither team would emerge from the deal in a dramatically different place, but maybe it would see if the other star swingman would be a better fit for them. I don't know, man. We've seen over the last couple years, the NBA analysts, the NBA writers, all these type of people been trying to push Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown away from each other. Oh, it's not going to work. Oh, their styles aren't going to play together. Oh, they're both number 1 options. It's clearly working right now, and we've seen it over the last couple seasons. Since 2022, they made 3 straight Eastern Conference Finals. They've made a total of 6 out of 8 of the last 8 years. And Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been a part of that. Jaylen Brown being on there for 1 extra season more than Jayson Tatum. And Jayson Tatum basically has the same 5 and 7 years. Jaylen Brown 6 and 8 years. They're meant to play with each other, and their styles have worked this season, especially with the acquisitions of Jrue Holiday, Derrick White, Kristaps, Porzingis. There, in my opinion, should be no need to blow it up and try to trade something. Even if you lose, just reattach some of those role players. This starting 5 is set. It can work. There's no need to blow up and trade Jaylen Brown just because you sign into an extension and, oh, he can be a $50 million guy as a number 1 option on some other team. Let's go help them out. All these trades, to me, when looking at it from Bleacher Report, seem to help out the other team more. Giving the Suns Jaylen Brown a younger wing to play alongside Kevin Durant and help them out. Giving, obviously, the Cavaliers that true small forward that they could use to pair alongside Darius Garland and Evan Mobley to have their 1, 2, 3 pack-a-punch. And then if you look at the Clippers, you're basically just helping them out by basically giving them Jaylen Brown for Paul George when Paul George wants to be a free agent anyway this offseason. And then you have Jaylen Brown and Kawhi Leonard, and you're helping them in their youth movement. It basically takes away our youth movement, is giving us an older veteran that can help us out on the offensive side. But is that what we necessarily need? Do we need better offense? Do we need more scoring? Or do we need to focus on our defensive side, focus on our defensive pressure, and actually lock in? Obviously, with no Kristaps Porzingis, you can see that they've struggled on both sides of the ball. But clearly, I think the defensive issues are the main problems. This team can heat up. Jrue Holiday can drop 20. Derrick White can drop 20. Pritchard can drop 20. Hauser can drop 20. We've seen it with our own eyes. We don't need to rely on just Jayson, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown to do these things. So my honest opinion, I think that these trades are absolutely crazy. I would not do any of these trades. And the fact that this is all coming out, especially with the Celtics in this deep playoff run, is crazy to me. Especially the Donovan Mitchell one. But let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think about all these trades? Would you do any of them? Personally, I am staying away from all three. I think the Celtics would benefit having Jaylen Brown, but I know that there's some fans that aren't the highest on Jaylen Brown. Lastly, before we head out, drop down your comments so you can be featured on today's comment of the day. But today's comment of the day is from Ace on Harris 954, talking about Al Horford is the best in our video where we broke down how Al Horford saved the Boston Celtics last night, being that hero for our team and really coming to life. 22 points, 6 for 13 from three-point range with 15 rebounds and 3 blocks, really cementing himself as that veteran, proving once again, like I've been preaching, he can still be a starter in this league, can play these types of minutes, and everyone was saying he's washed, he's old, he's missing all these opportunities. He's 0 for 10 from three-point range before this game. But man, oh man, did Al Horford step up. He deserved those MVP chants, and let's not forget to give Al his love. Like I mentioned, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys enjoyed the content, hit the subscribe button, check the other 2 videos linked up at the top as we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers. Make sure to stay up to date on the community page to stay in date when we do the live watch-alongs when the series is back, obviously when the Celtics are in the Eastern Conference Finals, playing the Knicks or the Pacers, or when the Boston Celtics have their meeting announced and we discuss a live radio call-in. Once again, I'm Bruce Veliz. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and go Boston Celtics. Peace out, everybody.